Welcome back. We're still in discussion with our panelists on India's incredible win over Ireland. Let's now, in fact, go across right to Shivani Gupta, who's joined by Saurav Ganguly in Hamilton. Shivani, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Himanshu. Saurav, with me, former India captain. Saurav, you've been watching the Indian team closely. Anything new that we can talk about? Or the team is just, keeping up the momentum so beautifully. Anything in their way? And they have a way to get over it.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely clinical performance. At the start of the day, I was hearing Ian Smith say that they will get it till the end and they will try and make a game out of it. But India just smashed their way away in this game, and I thought Ireland got off to a good start. The Indian spinners came in the game and stopped the run flow. They showed a bit of immaturity, the Irish, because when the two off spinners were bowling, they sent in another left-hander. If they would have had the experience of a Dhoni or a Ravi or an Indian team tank in the dressing room, they would have sent a right-hander and to get the game going. So that actually stopped the run rate in the middle and put too much pressure on them. They lost too many wickets at the end, but as you said, the Indians were absolutely clinical. Look at the way they batted. They just smashed the Irish bowling. All. Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and even Ajinkya Rahane when he came in. It looked like, it's nothing. Absolutely. Nothing can get past the bat, and it's great to see. They are in the quarterfinals. They've got Zimbabwe in a couple of days' time, which they will run through, and then hopefully Bangladesh in the quarterfinals, which they will run through, and then the semi-finals.
You're making that prediction, we'll run through Bangladesh in the quarterfinals? Yeah, I'll come to that in a bit, but Dhoni spoke after the match, and he said that, the reason why I didn't get the spinners on earlier is because
Right, Shivani, if you can hear me, Andrew has a question for Saurav.
A few overs, that flexibility is also required.
Yeah, go on.
Yes, Andrew.
I'm just wondering, we were talking earlier in the studio about how the Indian, especially the fast bowlers, have come into this World Cup and bowled very well, changed completely from the ODI series. What do you put it down to?
Andrew, like you, I am also very, very surprised to see that turnaround and such quick turnaround. But I'm very happy to see that the way they have bowled. I think it's the intent. They've run in. They've realized the importance of this tournament. If you look at India in the last 4 years, they have played outstandingly in big tournaments. They won the 2011 World Cup. Then they won the 2013 Champions Trophy in England. They were the runners-up in the T20 World Cup in Bangladesh recently, and now this World Cup. So this major 4 titles, they have been outstanding, and the only reason I can see is that come the big tournament, they have raised their bar of the game. Their cricket has gone up. They've looked a much different side, a much determined side, and a much hungry side. Because I really don't know what's the other reason is, because the same side in Test matches and in the one-day tournaments, bilateral series have looked very ordinary. But when it comes to the big tournaments, they've really gone to a different level.
Right, let's also bring in Boria Majumdar into the discussion. Boria, you had a question for Dada. Please go ahead.
Yes, yesterday also when we were seeing Bangladesh and today Ireland, I asked Andrew the same question. Yes, Rubel Hussain got Bangladesh over the line, but they were stuttering towards the end. Is it about the occasion? Is it about the pressure of the big game? Today, for example, the Irish started so well and they lost track in the middle overs. When they play these big teams, is it more to do with ability or more to do with mental fortitude?
No, I think it's a lot to do with ability, because a lot of these overseas players, when they play the Indian spinners, they struggle. They are more used to playing fast bowling, and when it comes to the slow bowlers, especially the way Ashwin and Raina bowled today, you could see that they found it very difficult to rotate the side, strike as consistently and hit the boundaries consistently. So that's one of the reasons why their run rate went down. And the Indian spinners have bowled superbly. But I must tell you that the Bangladesh attack is a lot different from the Irish attack. And I was watching the game against Bangladesh against England yesterday, and I've been watching them throughout. I even commentated in the Canberra game against Afghanistan where they won. That attack has pace. When you see Rubel, when you see Tashkent, they're bowling at the high 140s, 142, 143. Mashrafi Mortaza has always been a very good bowler at the international level, even though he plays for Bangladesh. So there are 3 fast bowlers, or wicket-taking fast bowlers. If you look at the dismissals yesterday against England, they've got out to genuine good deliveries, the likes of Ian Bell. the likes of Taylor, even Butler, who was going so well yesterday. They've got some good deliveries which they have dismissed them. So I think Bangladesh is a different side from Ireland. The Irish batting is good, but the Bangladesh bowling attack is the best of all the so-called minnows. You know, obviously Bangladesh is a test playing nation. Ireland or UAE or Afghanistan are not test playing nations. But Bangladesh's bowling attack is a lot better than the other three.
Also, Saurabh, if I can ask you, MS Dhoni now has overtaken you for the most consecutive wins in a World Cup. For 9 wins now for him, and you know, it seems this man truly does have the Midas touch, but especially when it comes to big.
Oh, absolutely! He's India's best one-day captain by far. And look at his record in one-day cricket. He's India's best captain ever in the shorter format of the game.
That coming from you?
Yeah, absolutely, by far the best captain ever in the shorter format of the game. The only difference is he took 2 World Cups. Ganguly took 1 World Cup. That's the only difference. No, but that's on the lighter side. I think he's terrific. Look at his record in one-day cricket. Look at his record.
98 wins now.
In big tournaments.
Just behind 3 captains.
Yeah, in big tournaments. I'm sure he's captained a lot of one-day games as well. But just it does not necessarily give you wins if you captain one-day cricket. But his performance in big tournaments, you know, World Cups, T20 World Cups, Champions Trophy, and even this World Cup is phenomenal.
You know, he's overtaken Stephen Fleming, the former Kiwi skipper, and I spoke to him incidentally yesterday, and he said, bigger the occasion, bigger Dhoni gets, because of course he knows him closely through Chennai, and he says that if you look at big tournaments, that's when Dhoni shines, and who knows, he was actually pipping for India to win the World Cup. He said an India-New Zealand final, and India will perhaps take it if the 2 teams meet in the final.
All right, thanks a lot, Shivani. We'll come back to you in a bit. Let's now listen into the fans who were present at Hamilton during the match.
5 wins in a row now, most wins consecutively for Dhoni. Are you happy with the baby?
We are really happy. I think we will do the World Cup too. I
have these young kids, Irish fans who are here to watch the match. Did you enjoy the match?
Yes.
But are you sad that your team lost?
Yeah.
So, one more match to go for Ireland. Ma'am, you were here to watch the match too. Ireland gave a...
Look at husband.
The husband was here too.
India ticket.
Oh, so you're supporting both teams, right?
And
what about Ireland?
I love Ireland. I thought they did very well.
What about India's batting? Extremely good century from Shikhar Dhawan today.
oh, I expected that, and he's been a really good. He pulled him really good.
India chance once again. India winning the World Cup now?
Yeah, definitely we're gonna win that, man. Dhoni gonna do that one more time. Yay!
What about Dhawan's innings today?
Oh, that was wonderful because I think he's the best man of the match today, and he might be got a car over there, might be, but he was best man of the match, and Kohli did very well, and hopefully we did we won't get a World Cup too.
We will win the World Cup, eh?
Yeah, yeah, we will.
We will win the World Cup,
Dhoni has become the captain with the most consecutive wins in a World Cup now. 9 wins for him, overtaking Sourav Ganguly.
Yeah.
So Dhoni could be in line to win 2 back-to-back titles now.
Yeah,
He's a very cool captain. He's gonna do that, and he will do that.
Yeah.
Dhoni, come on! We're gonna
Dhoni, let's do it again!
We will bring the comeback! We will bring the comeback! Come! India! 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 India!
All right, Nikhil, Andrew, you were making a mention of the Indian bowling and some of the lengths that some of the bowlers have been bowling in this World Cup. Can we have a live demonstration from the two of you, making it very clear to us what exactly is the point that you were trying to make here?
Yeah, when you talk about good lengths area, I mean...
We can have the two of you on the pitch as well if you want to actually demonstrate everything.
A fast bowler is probably looking at to hit the top off stump? So obviously different wickets have got different sort of bounce.
Yeah, for example, say if you're playing in Perth, a bouncier wicket, so your stock ball, you're always looking to hit the top of the stumps. That's where a fast bowler's trying to do. So in Perth, for example, your length may be there, quite full, and say then you move to a place like Adelaide,
right?
More of an even, flatter wicket. So your length, you're bowling a bit shorter to try and hit the top of the stumps, make the ball harder for the batsman to hit. He's going to have...
allowing the ball a little more room to get the top of the off stump.
That's right. You want to allow the ball a chance to bounce. So the batsman's having to take a risk by hitting the ball on the up rather than on the half volley.
Right.
So as a rule, the quicker you can work out what length to bowl on what surface, the more chances you are of taking a wicket.
And would the height of a batsman also make a difference? Because if, say, somebody tall like you, obviously his reach is going to be much more further into the wicket.
Yes.
Can we actually have the two of you maybe holding the bat as well and demonstrating it even better?
So if you're playing forward, obviously your reach would be much
that's
further.
Right. My reach is going to be probably further than say
Rahane or one of the shorter
He's
players.
a shorter man with shorter arms and legs, so you may be able to pitch up even slightly more to him if you're really having an accurate day. But the other thing to take into account is the spinners. I can probably reach for the ball a bit further out in front of my pad if I want to knock Ashwin in on the leg side.
Right.
He may choose to drag his length back just 6 inches or a foot to me as to what he may bowl to a Rahane or a Kohli or someone like that.
Right.
So these are all things that the bowler has to sum up quickly and the batsman has to make adjustments to. If someone's bowling well, maybe you've got to go out of your crease a little bit or go deeper in your crease.
Right.
So these are ways you can adjust your length.
So as a spinner, Himanshu, when you're looking to play forward, the most difficult area to try and trouble the batsman would be allowing the ball to bounce literally from your knee, just somewhere middle way of your thigh.
Right.
That's where the batsmen find it difficult to work the ball to try and get the singles.
Right. In fact, let's also get a perspective from a batsman on this. Let's go right across to Saurav. Nikhil, why don't you ask this question to Saurav?
Adi, do you think the Indian bowlers, the spinners as well as the fast bowlers have been able to get the lengths on different tracks spot on very quickly? Do you think that's an area where they've worked quite a bit?
No, I think they've been spot on, the bowlers, Indian bowlers. They've got all the 5 teams which they have played in this World Cup dismissed. They've got 50 wickets in 5 games. I think that's a very good achievement, especially in one-day cricket. You know, Test cricket you can understand as you have time to take 10 wickets, but to dismiss sides in 50 overs, I think is a special feat. They've bowled really well. They've bowled well with the new ball. They've bowled well with the old ball. They've bowled well in the death overs. Even today, Ireland were 3 down for 205, and then they got 5 wickets for 35 runs in the death overs. So overall, their performance has been outstanding. There's a lot of cricket still left in the World Cup. The important stages of the tournament will be starting very shortly, and hopefully they can continue their superb form with the bat and ball.
Right, Boria, you had a question for Dada.
You know, I actually had a question for all of them. I mean, first, I'll start with Shivani. Shivani's covered Perth and this one. I want her to compare fan passion. I want to ask Saurav. He's captained India now. He's commentating. He keeps getting mobbed. Has he ever seen fan passion similar to the one that he's seen in Adelaide, Melbourne, Perth and here? Andrew, you've been a legend of the game. Nikhil, you played for India. You know, have you ever seen, and take football, take other sports into account as well, have you seen similar fans elsewhere in the world, or do Indian fans stand apart?
So let's start with Saurav, answering that question first.
No, I think I've seen Indian fans come to the ground when India plays everywhere. You know, and Andrew will agree that when India goes to Australia and plays those one-day games, India-Australia, the stands are full. When they come to India, the stands are full. You know, I've been to England, playing in England at Lord's is like a home game for India, England and the Oval. So I think Indian cricket has had this luck of fans supporting them for a while. For the last 20-25 years, they've had people turning up for India matches, especially World Cup. You look at the Australia-England game, there were 90,000 people at the MCG supporting the Australians. So I think Indian fans have been very, very supportive of the cricket. They love the cricket. You know, in a small town like Hamilton, I've seen more Indians than Kiwis here for the last 2 days. So I think we are very lucky to get the support of so many people.
Yeah, if I could just add to that, you know, I was going to mention this earlier as well, Himanshu and Boria. What has been fantastic, of course, as a reporter to cover the World Cup, this one, is that even though it's so far away from home, this is not what it was in 2011 by far. You know, everywhere you go, the atmosphere is of a home game for India, no matter where. And Boria's already mentioned the places we've played. The ratio by which Indian fans are dominating the stands is actually as big as 70-30. And I was in the stands today as well, as I was in Perth. It's really an Indian fan base that is dominating everyone. So the team is not just dominating in the middle, but also in the stands. And a lot of contingents are following the team now and traveling all over the world. Something that is a trend that is growing now. I've already seen 3 to 4 different troops and contingents and armies, you know, not just the Swami army, but other armies that have come together and they're following the team everywhere. So it's actually a great sign for the team that didn't start as the big favorite in this World Cup. Right,
Andrew, your answer, your response to Boria's question.
I think the thing that's fascinating is just the amount of Indians, and as Dada said, they're taking over. They'll come into a town and all you can see is Indians. That's why it was fascinating to watch in Australia. The amount of people in the stadiums, I think, is what's you know, it's sort of, and if you're not there, you can't probably appreciate the noise and the amount of people that are there. But if it's 70-30, and you know, we all know the amount of noise that the Indian crowds can make, it makes a huge difference for the Indian team, I'd imagine.
Right, Nikhil, you've shared the dressing room with some of the... Okay,
Himanshu,
yeah. Yes, Boria, go ahead.
Andrew, a quick follow-up. Ask Andrew a quick follow-up. If India plays Australia in Sydney, 45,000, what will it be? 35,000 Indians, 10,000 Australians?
Yeah, well, I'd say so, mate. It depends who can get in first and buy the tickets. The Indians must have someone in the ticket office there that's giving them 50% off or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, gentlemen, for joining us. That's all we have on this show. News and updates continue on Headlines Today.